Hello! Welcome to the Neal's Yard Dairy subscription, which delivers 3 handmade cheeses from around the British Isles to your door every month. For March, with St. Patrick's Day marking the midpoint of the month, we're focusing on 3 of our Irish cheeses. Neal's Yard Dairy has been buying cheese from Ireland since the 1980s, and we still head over there twice a year in normal times to taste and select our cheese and to catch up on the news from the dairies that we work with there. So the first cheese in your selection this month is St. Tola, which is a delicate goat's milk cheese made with raw organic milk in County Clare by Siobhan Garvey. I find its presence here to be a really great little reminder that spring is coming. There will be more fresh goats and sheep's milk cheeses coming onto our counters in the near future, so it's all very exciting. St. Tola is quite a gentle, creamy goat's milk cheese. So even if you aren't normally a fan of goat's cheese, I would encourage you to give this one a try. I think you'll be really surprised. The St. Tola that we sell is a special recipe that's made just for Neal's Yard Dairy. It's made in smaller batches than usual, which allows the cheesemakers to gently mix the curds and salt by hand. We add a bit of extra salt. And we think this kind of gentle hand mixing contributes to the texture of the final cheese, which is quite dense, but it's very creamy. It kind of coats your mouth in a really nice way. And please do eat the rind, it's delicious. And don't worry about any blue or green spots of mold that may appear on the surface. They are completely normal, and they won't negatively affect the taste of the cheese. So your second cheese, Kool-Aid, which is the yellow-rinded hard cheese there, in contrast, don't eat the rind. I wouldn't recommend eating the rind of this cheese, as it is a plastic material used to keep the moisture in the cheese. Kool-Aid, which is an aged cow's milk cheese from County Cork. And it probably won't surprise you that the makers of this cheese are from Holland. They moved to Ireland in the late 1970s, and they make this cheese in the style of a Dutch Gouda. So the cheese curds during the make are washed in hot water, which removes some of the lactose, some of the acidity, and also helps just remove more and more of the moisture from the curds. And so they're pressed into a mold then and brushed with this bright yellow plastic coating called Plasticoat, fittingly, which helps keep the cheese from drying out during a long maturation process, period. We've been buying Kool-Aid from Dick and Helen since the 1980s, and over the past 40 years, we've really refined what we look for in the cheese that we bring back to London to sell. We typically sell Kool-Aid between 18 and 24 months old, and we find that the cheeses that are made with milk produced during the spring and summer months, when the cows are grazing on drier pastures, tend to have really interesting flavors that can develop beautifully over this longer maturation period. So that's what we tend to select. And you'll find that Kool-Aid has a very smooth, very close texture with these lovely kind of sweet, toffee, caramelly flavors. It's very addictive. So your third cheese, your last cheese in your selection, is a blue cheese, Cashel Blue, which is a very easygoing, very buttery blue made from pasteurized cow's milk in County Tipperary. And when then farmers Lewis and Jane Grubb created it in the 1980s, there were really no blues being made in Ireland at the time, and it remains one of Ireland's very few blue cheeses. And we at Neal's Yard Dairy were the first to bring Cashel Blue back to sell in London around 1985, and we've been selling it ever since. And you'll see right away from the texture of the cheese that it's quite creamy, it's a very silky blue cheese, it's pretty gentle, and I find it to be a bit less salty than other blues you may have encountered, so it's also great to cook with if you have any leftovers. It's one to break out the port or the sweeter dessert wines with, as a lot of blue cheeses are. And on the cheese board, it's a lovely match for fruit like pears. And again, any leftovers will melt really nicely into a cheese sauce. I've used it to make something to go on top of a steak before, and it's been fantastic. So play around a bit. And so that's your March cheese board. You've got St. Tola, Kool-Aid, and Cashel Blue. As always, please don't hesitate to get in touch with any questions or comments. We always love to hear from you. And enjoy, and we will see you in April. Bye.